You know that person who has entire arguments in their head with people who said nothing wrong? Who replays a conversation from 3 years ago and finally thinks of the perfect response? Who imagines a difficult situation that has not happened yet and then emotionally prepares for it as if it already has? That person is not dramatic. That person is not overthinking. That person's brain is doing something incredibly specific. And once you understand what it is, you will never call it a flaw again. Because here is what most people get wrong about this. Imagining fake scenarios is not a sign that something is broken in you. It is a sign that your brain is trying to protect you from something it learned was dangerous a long time ago. And there is a specific moment, usually before something important or after something painful, when it kicks in hardest. There is also a cost to it that nobody talks about. Not just the mental energy it drains, the actual impact it has on your relationships, your decisions, and the version of your life you end up living. By the end of this, you will understand exactly why your brain does this, what it is actually trying to do, and the one shift that changes how much power those imaginary scenarios have over you. Here is what's actually happening. Every time you imagine a fake scenario, a confrontation, a disaster, a conversation that has not happened, your brain is not being irrational. It's being efficient. Your brain has one job above everything else: keep you safe. And the way it keeps you safe is by predicting what might go wrong before it goes wrong. So it runs simulations. It takes past experiences, moments where you were caught off guard, embarrassed, hurt, or rejected, and it builds imaginary futures out of them. Not to torture you, to prepare you. The problem is that your brain cannot always tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one, so it responds to the simulation the same way it would respond to the real thing. Heart rate up, chest tight, that low hum of anxiety before something that has not even happened. Your body is living through something your mind invented. And here's where it gets interesting. The people who do this most intensely are almost never the people you would expect. They are not weak. They are not anxious by nature. They are usually the people who are most emotionally intelligent, the ones who pick up on everything, notice every shift in a room, and feel things more deeply than the people around them. Because the same brain that imagines every possible way something could go wrong is the same brain that genuinely cares about the outcome. You do not rehearse conversations you do not care about. You do not imagine disasters in situations that do not matter to you. The fake scenarios follow the things that mean the most. Now here's the part that changes how you see it. There are two kinds of imaginary scenario. The first kind prepares you. You think through a difficult conversation before it happens. You plan what you would say. You work through the emotion before you're standing in front of the person. And when the moment comes, you're calmer, clearer, and more in control than you would have been otherwise. That's your brain working exactly as it should. The second kind loops. It's the same scenario playing over and over with no resolution, no preparation happening, just the feeling, the dread, the anger, the hurt, repeating on a cycle that never lands anywhere. One version uses the imagination as a tool. The other lets the imagination use you. And most people who do this have never been told the difference, so they live somewhere between the two without realizing they have a choice. Here's what the looping version actually costs. Every time your brain runs an unresolved imaginary scenario, it uses the same cognitive resources, the same focus, the same emotional energy as a real experience, which means you're going through hard things twice, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 20. And the energy you spend rehearsing conflicts that never happen, grieving conversations that went differently in your head, or preparing for disasters that never arrive, is energy that doesn't go toward the actual decisions in front of you, the relationships you're not fully present in, the opportunities you're not pursuing because your brain is already busy managing a threat that doesn't exist yet. The cost is not just mental exhaustion, it's the gap between the life you are living and the one you would be living if that energy were pointed somewhere real. So here's the shift. Not a technique, not a journaling exercise. One question. When the scenario starts, ask yourself, Is this helping me prepare or is this helping me avoid? If it's preparation, let it run, think it through, decide what you would do, then let it go. If it's avoidance, if the scenario is running because facing the real thing feels too heavy, that's the moment to do something small and real instead. One message, one conversation, one decision you've been putting off. Not because the scenario is wrong to have, but because the only thing that stops the loop is a real action that gives your brain actual evidence instead of imaginary evidence. Your brain runs simulations because it doesn't have enough information to feel safe. Give it real information. The simulations quiet down. There is nothing wrong with a brain that prepares this way. There's nothing dramatic about a mind that feels things before they happen. The people who imagine the most are usually the ones who care the most. The only question is whether you're using that capacity or letting it use you. If this landed, the video on why certain people feel everything more deeply than others will make even more sense of what you just heard. It's there when you're ready.